You'll need 2 teaspoons of paprika, a teaspoon of mustard powder, half a teaspoon of freshly ground cumin, a quarter teaspoon of smoked salt, a quarter teaspoon of celery salt, and a half teaspoon of ground black pepper. I've also added 1 chipotle chilli and 2 rounds of wild garlic butter. But if you haven't got any wild garlic butter, then you can just use 2 cloves of garlic. Then add 3 tablespoons of date syrup, 1 tablespoon of oil, and 100 ml of apple cider vinegar. I'm just pouring it into this teaspoon so I can get all of that date syrup out. A lot of recipes use molasses or dark sugar. I really like date syrup because it also gives it a fruitiness. I'll just scrape it out of there so there's none left. This is 1.8 kilos of boneless pork shoulder, and I'm just going to seal it off in the frying pan. So the frying pan's nice and hot. I'm going to put it fat side down first, and we're just looking to get some colour on this. So as you can see across here, there is a lot of fat on this joint, but we're going to leave this on for now because some of that fat will break down and will flavour the meat as it goes through the meat, and the rest of it we'll scrape off before we pull the pork. So just turn the meat around in that spice mix just to get it coated. In a slow cooker, it will cook on low for a minimum of 8 hours. I've left it up to 20 before and it was super tender. I'm going to put this in the oven at 120 degrees. I'm going to check on it after 6 hours. That should be enough, but it really doesn't matter if you leave it for longer. Let's mush in some of this garlic butter. This was actually frozen, but it does melt down so quickly just with the heat of the meat. And then I'll pop the lid on, and into the oven it goes. And 6 hours later, it's done. So the first thing I need to do is take this fat off the top. The strings are the only thing now that's holding it in place. So I'm just going to take some scissors and cut it. So I'm cutting 4 pieces of string here, so I just need to remember to get that string out when I've done the pork. So you just pull that off there. Oh, all the strings come off with the fat, so that's good. Technically this isn't pulled pork because pulled pork actually refers to pulling it off the bone, and there was no bone in this to start with, but you can see how it's just going to fall apart. So you just take your spoon and your fork, even just the fork, and just stir it and just poke it in, and that pork all just falls apart. So it is mostly broken up now. If when you're stirring it you do come across a large piece, just get your spoon in it there and it breaks it down nicely. It has already absorbed a lot of that liquid as I've been breaking it down. Especially as I'm going to be serving it tomorrow, this is just going to be nice and keep it moist while I'm reheating it. There's not a lot of liquid in this recipe to start with, so you should be okay for not reducing the liquid, I really think. I'm serving this pulled pork with brioche and coleslaw, and it will serve easily 6 to 8 people. It'll go a lot further if you add more sides and things with it as well. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next week.